Awesome. I am so excited to get started. I'm gonna give everyone a second to just pile on in. Welcome. There's still a little bit of New York sunshine shining in through the windows of the Makeup Museum here in the Meatpacking District. So I'm enjoying basking in what is left of it for the day. Welcome, welcome. Welcome everyone. I am literally so excited. I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes and then I'm gonna introduce myself. Hi, Carrie. Or Carrie, I may be saying that wrong. Welcome, welcome everyone. Oh, this is so exciting. Been waiting for several weeks, maybe even months at this point, to make this webinar possible for you guys. So I am thrilled. I literally wish you could come and see, but this is why we're doing the tour. Hi, Jacqueline. Hi. Oh, I love that Jacqueline St. Laurent, girl. That is a brand. That's skincare. That's something. I love it. Good. I'm so glad I can see your comments popping up as we go on the tour. I'll be very focused on that as well. So if you have questions, drop them below. Super excited. Where's everyone from? Hi, Oasis. Love. These names are giving me vibes. Welcome. Where's everyone calling? Oh, NYC. Hi, Erica. Pensacola, Florida. I'd love to be there. Dallas. That's my hometown. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. Okay, Providence. Greenville, what's up? Oh, I love it. This is one reason why I love technology, because we can all connect, even though we're spread out around the country. Oh gosh, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. A lot of places I haven't visited, but putting a pin in the map, okay? Welcome. So awesome. I see the energy is here, so I'm going to get started. And I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am. I hope you can feel my energy. And definitely, if you're ever in the New York area, hi Catskills, please pull up on us. Thank you so much. So my name is Kenecia Lachey. And I am, again, originally from Texas, but I have lived in New York City for about 10 years, minus the 2 years that I left America and traveled around the world. My career in New York started out really working in the retail space when it came to beauty. I think a lot of us start in that medium, and you kind of work your way up. And at the time that I started doing makeup, there was not any YouTube. Okay, there was not Instagram. I may be aging myself, but I'm okay with that because that was just my reality. There was word of mouth. There were magazines like Marie Claire, of course, Vogue and Essence and Ebony and Jet and things of that nature for you to aspire to. But I knew early on, after graduating from college at Texas Southern University, that I wanted to pursue something in the artistic medium. And I knew that if I wanted to do anything, I had to do it in New York. So I hightailed it up here and kind of made my way. And I remember working with Tarte Cosmetics. I know you guys are probably very familiar with them, as a freelancer. Mind you, I had a MAC Cosmetics background, which was the holy grail of makeup back then. And Tarte had a fantastic edge in on New York Fashion Week, which every makeup artist dreams of working New York Fashion Week. And I got an opportunity to do Fashion Week, and it just catapulted from there. I then started working with BET, MTV, and things were absolutely amazing. New York is more of an editorial fashion. You don't get a ton of celebrity, but they are here as well. But I absolutely had a fantastic career. I ended up working my way up into different mediums, such as launching Milk makeup into the market, as well as Boots No. 7, which was a UK brand. So had a wealth of experience and just an amazing time. As a makeup artist, you just have the luxury of just different spaces, different people, learning so many different things. I can't even begin to tell you how my career as a makeup artist really has influenced who I am as a woman. So again, back to those 2 years that I skipped town and traveled around the world exploring beauty, art, fashion, and I created a platform called Passport to Pretty. For those who are on Instagram, it's at Passport, the number 2 Pretty. You can find me there. And I just looked, I just traveled around the world and explored different beauty rituals, also how people manage stress. And I don't have any words for that trip. I have traveled to over 40 countries, predominantly solo. I earned my yoga certification because wellness on the inside is just as important on the outside for me. And that was just fantastic. If you have the opportunity when the world opens back up to travel, I bid you, listen, make it happen for yourself. Do not wait, make it happen, take the risk, invest in yourself, because it's the best education that I ever bought myself. And I got to see spas in Bali. I got to see, retreat spaces in Singapore. I got to participate in African spiritual rituals. It was just phenomenal. We don't even have enough time to go through how amazing those experiences were for me. But again, you can find me on Instagram and, see some of the experiences. And upon coming back to America, there was a little bit of a shell shock, kind of like, whoa, I'm back. And I had this great career as a makeup artist. I had a great, follow-up as a beauty educator. And I just really felt like I lost touch in a way with what was happening in America, what was happening in the New York beauty scene. And I remember that this flash came up on my Facebook about joining the FIT Beauty Industry Centrals. And I said, I need this. Like, I need this today. And of course, coming back, your girl spent all her cash, okay? I'm not gonna even front. Spent all my money on this amazing 2-year journey around the world, and I don't regret it one single bit. But I reached out and, learned more about the program, and I was really impressed with the breakdown and very curious to get back into the rings of like the New York makeup scene. But I didn't have any money. I didn't have much, okay? And I discovered that they were so kind to offer me a partial scholarship. And I applied, and Yellowbrick changed my life, changed my re-entry back into America, because then I really got down to the basics of what this industry was really all about, and thinking about it in ways that I hadn't thought about it before. Again, I had this career, and sometimes we kind of get stuck doing what we do, doing what pays the bills. But I've got to tell you that continuing education is going to be key to life forever. Not just, because we're in COVID and lockdown and we can't go all over the place. It's going to be something that I do until the day that I drop, okay? Because a lot of times when you finish school, you just stop. You stop learning, and you should never stop learning. So working with Yellowbrick has been a dream. And of course, over quarantine, like most people, I bunkered down, I did some self-discovery, and really got into the course and learned so much about the different possibilities and really started to get imaginative. And, I even started working on my own beauty line that you will see when you go to my IG. But most importantly, it really helped me feel confident about where I was going to go in this industry and what legacy I was going to leave behind for my 3-year-old niece, Rose. And, lo and behold, it was hard to really find work in a way when you really don't know exactly what you want to do, right? And you're just kind of back into discovery mode. And so I remember that, I love to write about beauty. And so someone reached out to me and asked me to write. It wasn't paid. You girls know you can't pay the bills if you ain't getting paid. But I said, you know what? I'll do it. I love to write. I love to write about beauty. And I wrote an article about beauty in Harlem and wellness in Harlem. And lo and behold, I was researching on that site to learn more about them as I was writing for them. And I found a press release about the Makeup Museum. So your girl did her due diligence, found out who was the creator, the mastermind behind this amazing brand. Found out that her name was Doreen Blanche. And I reached out. I said, listen, this is like a dream come true. I am so glad that you created this, that you had this vision, that you were, just diligent in making it happen. I want to be a part of this. I love makeup. I have always loved makeup. This is my background. I mean, the whole spiel. And Doreen, so amazing, and just such a powerful, strong woman to do something like this. Nothing like this has been done before. So I am so excited to start this tour of the Makeup Museum with you. I am literally So excited. My only regret is that you guys aren't here with me and that my amazing makeup museum team is not here to share this experience, because they are on point. They are so knowledgeable, and I always learn something new every time I tour with them. So without further ado, we're gonna jump right into the tour. Again, if you have questions, drop them down below. I'm gonna do my best to keep my eye on them, and then we'll have a little Q&A towards the end. But bear with me, I'm really so excited, and I get so giddy and excited when I talk about things that I love. So I'm gonna pan the camera over and show you our entry, and you'll see my shadow from time to time as well. Don't worry. So this is Pink Jungle, 1950s makeup in America. Okay, now this is our entrance. You'll see here the red door, and I wonder if anybody knows why that door is red. I would love for you to drop your answers in, and maybe we'll do a little trivia or something. But this beautiful red door. See, Ruth, my girl. Ruth hit me up for a treat. I got you. So absolutely. Estee Lauder actually made this color very popular with her role in supporting women's suffrages. And it was believed that she handed out red lipstick to show solidarity and unity. And so that color red, as you can see, I'm wearing it and many others often wear it. It's just a color of power, and it means so much to women's suffrage. These are our beautiful sponsors, Erna Laszlo and all, who made this possible. So I'm gonna open up this beautiful red door, and we're gonna go right into marketing beauty, okay? Now, this is a boom time for the cosmetics industry in America, and World War II was in the rear view, and so you start having things like commercials. You'll see this lovely commercial for Maybelline as well as Avon. And there was a lot of money to be made in this industry. And so you had a lot of advertisers and professional men wanting to put tons of money and effort into bringing cosmetics to the everyday woman. This is one of my favorite parts, the advertisements. The beauty advertisements of that time was heavily fixated on what we call, and what we know now is, male gaze. So for example, you have this, know if you can see it, but this red, hot and blue ad by Q-Tex. Clearly it is a nail polish and lipstick combination, but it is still heavily heavily gazed upon by the men in her life. So it just really is about being the perfect wife, the perfect mom, you know, just the homemaker. And you know, girls, we're not really going for that, okay? We do things for ourselves now, but we also have families too. You also see in the advertisement how to dress for the man. So again, it was heavily dominated by the needs and the wants and the likes of men. But you also find the beauty and how perfect and coiffed and just honestly gorgeous how these women were. Very feminine, soft. You even have things like China, you know, still again, all focused on what the male is wanting. And here you have this Revlon 64,000 question. It is comparable to like a Jeopardy or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in a sense. And it was really popular, and they had all rights to advertisement. So every commercial was a Revlon commercial. Speaking of which, this is Richard Avedon advertisement for Fire and Ice. And what I love about this, it was the most successful ad in 1952, thought to be very risky and salacious during a time. This is when women really started to step into their own ideal of independence. And I love that the headline was written by a woman named Kathleen Daly. This ad was used for 17 magazine, this version of the ad, with a younger model, and she was a little bit more covered here in this area because they were worried that it was too sexy, as Miss Dorian here has modeled. I love this. This is Fire and Ice. Are you made for Fire and Ice quiz? So one of the questions is, have you ever danced with your shoes off? You know, and it just speaks to what women were going through and who they were during that time. I even like this question, would you streak your hair with platinum without consulting your husband? girls, you know, we do what we want, right? Okay, so, and there's nothing wrong with asking for someone's opinion, but this was the concept and the thought pattern of the 1950s. Adore these ads. You have no idea how lovely these are up close and personal when you can read the fine print. Of course, most of the copyright is by men. You will also notice some pretty popular women, such as Marilyn Monroe, Elizabeth Taylor, as well as Sophia Loren. It was super normal to have celebrities be the spokespeople, but Marilyn actually stopped it because she was not getting paid, and a girl's got to be about her coins, okay? And so the studios got wind of it, and being honest, not able to afford, you know, a Marilyn Monroe, and they just started using models, beautiful models, everyday women. But you also start to realize that this is the birth of kind of the supermodel concept, right? So you have advertisers like Avon, Westmore, and Maybelline. Some of these things are still around to this day. You have Elizabeth Arden. I always discover something new every time I look at these, and I looked at them a lot. Here's something that you don't see often, and I'm gonna pan down a little bit, is smoking and beauty, unless it's an editorial or something that's avant-garde. They just didn't know in the 50s that smoking was bad for you. We would never associate, you know, losing weight with smoking cigarettes or having, you know, a beautiful skin with smoking. But back then it was very trendy and almost luxurious to do, to have cigarettes and smoke. And you'll see where they kept these cigarettes later. Okay, now you may see this wall here and think, you know, that it is very minimal. And to that point, you are absolutely right. This is our Black Beauty wall. And I remember, you know, going through the magazines and curating the experience. And I was a little heartbroken because I didn't see a lot of beauty advertisements with Black women or other women of color in mind. And so it was a little heartbreaking, especially for someone like me who really loves the industry. And you can see the advertisements were pretty much one or the other. It was, you know, Eurocentric hairstyles. You know, if you want to have a glamorous look, it needed to be straight, perfect, and coiffed. Also, I chose this cover of Ebony magazine that has always been in my household growing up. And it says, "I served 17 years for a murder I didn't commit." And this headline could actually be used today in 2020. So a lot of times, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And this is from October 1955. Then you have Jet magazine that I also grew up on. I think these women are absolutely beautiful in their own right, but you see that there is definitely a lack of diversity from, you know, the hairstyles to the complexion of what is to believe to be lighter skinned women to be, you know, prettier and softer during that time. You even have Joe Lopez, who is Afro-Latina. But during that time, you know, there was no such category. So everyone of color was just kind of like lumped into, you know, one category. We have some amazing artifacts that we hunted down, hair pomade, and you have what I call a rat tail comb that is still used in many households today. And if you're a hairstylist or aspiring hairstylist, you know fully well what this comb is about. And then you have the Royal Crown hairdressing, which is still in production, and you can find it at most beauty supplies. Okay. This is also super heartbreaking. When it came to advertisement for women of color, what you got was a lot of bleaching creams, okay? And if you read this, these nice things can happen to you. And it basically is saying that, like, hey, you can have happiness and friends with bright, clear skin. And it just sent a message that this was the only way to lighten your skin to make those things happen. Since then, we know the dangers. And as of 2020, companies like Johnson & Johnson have agreed to cease production and advertisement of skin lightening products for Asia and the Middle East, but it is still very challenging. Awesome. So I'm going to talk about these beautiful rooms, but they are always an eye catcher when our guests come into the studio space. And I love them too, and I'll tell you why. Until we have reached a color conformity, everything was about a formula. And this brings us to Max Factor, who was actually born in Poland. And he started out as a wig maker. and developed a theory called color harmony. Now, if you're a makeup artist or aspiring makeup artist, you know about the color wheel theory, and it's very important to learn and to know as you grow into your journey as an artist. But Max Factor was a little bit ahead of his time when he prescribed certain looks based on your hair type, right? Whether you were blonde, brunette, redhead, or brunette. He actually created studio spaces in Hollywood that I believe that Hollywood museums still have on display. And he worked with Marilyn Monroe, Lucille Ball. I mean, he was the cat's meow when it came to Hollywood starlets. This is a video clipping of David or Dean, his great grandsons, and they are the creators of Smashbox. So his legacy did live on in a very different way. So I love that we kind of took a little bit of the fact that the 1950s was a Jim Crow era, and there were things like for colored only, for whites only. But in this case, we are, specifically talking about makeup, and you have for blondes only, for brunettes only, for redheads only, and for brunettes only. Now, honestly, like I know, we wear what we want and we do what we want, right? But I gotta tell you, your girl looks really good in this room, in this pink room. I think that I look the best in this room. So there's something to be said about color theory. And I always have a lot of fun with all of the versions of myself back there. But I'll step into the green room and show you that my skin just starts to get weird. See that? I feel very Wicked Witch of the East. It just doesn't look good. But if a redhead came in here, stunning. I've seen it and it works, right? So now we're getting into the innovations. The business of beauty was fierce with lots of competition. So it would behoove brands to really pump up their packaging design and really dig into what customers wanted. We all know that everyone wanted to look amazing, but here is the innovation of the eyeliner. We have the coal vessel with lid, 5,000 years old from ancient Egypt. Okay, and then I had a fun time learning how to pronounce this, but it's a double ungutarium, aubergine double ungutarium, and it is from Rome. And what it is, you have one side here where you have an animal fat, and then you have a pigment on the other side, and you would mix it with this very thin metal stick to create your eyeliner. So essentially, it was probably the first liquid eyeliner. And if you are like me, you gotta have your eyeliner. All right, and this is the Qingbai cosmetic container. It is from the Chinese dynasty, and it was thought to actually hold powders. And I learned from one of our guests that based on the size would tell you where exactly it was used on the face. And we have Cake Mascara, which I am familiar with, but there's so many options that I don't use it in my own personal collection. But this specific type of mascara was called Spit Block because in order to activate it, it had to be wet. And so most women would just simply use their spit. Not the most sanitary, but it was the most used. And you have makeup specs, which I think are really absolutely great for those who have a little trouble with their vision and you really want to get that detail on the eye. It's really great for that. You have these eyeliners from House of Westmore and Stein's that could actually be found in Sephora or any other drugstore. I don't think that model has changed, but definitely ingredients have changed. You've got Cake Liner, which I have had the privilege of using. I really love Cake Liner. And you have more cake liners from Revlon, but you also have when the spoolies started to become popular. So you had your traditional makeup mascara, but this time it came with a spoolie so that you can apply it without spit. Now, makeup wouldn't be anything without fragrance, and I'm just going to pan here and show you some of the popular fragrances during the 1950s. You have the Max Factor Electronique, and you have Nina Ricci. You have the La Interdite by Givenchy, which is still sold in Paris, and it was made famous by Audrey Hepburn. I adore all of these little mini guys. Because if you're anything like me, you love to have a little something to throw in your purse. But these were actually a collection of aftershaves. And just honestly, all men had to do was have this little tiny bottle, but we had tons of things to make ourselves look pretty. You know, the category of men's skincare is changing today, but you know, we have way more stuff for women. You have these really cool perfume nibs. You just literally break them off and then, you know, apply them. Be careful because it is glass. And I love the Smacks Factor Sophisticat. It was a gift with purchase. So cool. Okay, now, if you're a makeup fanatic like myself and you're really interested in doing the beauty essentials, I highly recommend looking at this table very closely because it will help you with some ideas and, you know, get really creative about what you're doing and what your future holds. So these are beautiful compacts. And during the time when women were not really expected to touch up their makeup in public, but now we're starting to see the individualized personal touch, and it was absolutely encouraged to show your unique side or your feminine energy. And I love this compact right here. This is Mae West Compact. It's a blue enamel with a coral push piece. I adore it, and we acquired that not too long ago, so it's still very new. You have beautiful, you know, lipstick holders with mirrors. And earlier when I told you about the cigarettes and where they kept them right here in their compact. And the compacts range from so many different unique designs. I literally feel like I missed out on this lifetime. Bird in Hand Compact, created by Elgin America in collaboration with artist Salvador Dali. It is a rare find and a beautiful piece. The head here pops out into a lipstick. And then when you open up the wings, it's a heart-shaped mirror with a place for your compact underneath. Beautiful. And you even have makeup becoming a part of just being patriotic. That's how normalized it was, how accepted, how expected it was. You have this US Navy compact that a lot of soldiers would give their sweethearts. And it's from 1955 right here. Very beautiful. Okay. So we are moving into hair dryers. If you have any hairstylists in here, I mean, I'm trying to grow my sides out. It's a whole nother story. But I love these dryers. Growing up, my grandmother actually had a dryer like this in her house, and you would get in it and you would automatically catapult to the 1950s. That's how strong the wind was. Very hardware and lasts for a very long time. This is a Helena Curtis, and as you can tell, it's no joke, right? And so a lot of hairstylists, professional hairstylists would use this and, you know, do amazing blowouts. This is from Hamilton Beach, so you can imagine the power. And when I picked it up originally, I thought it was a weight. You start to see the advancement of the Conair dryer getting lighter and brighter, more feminine, and ease of use for, you know, at home without the weight of 20 pounds. If you love lipstick like I do, you are going to adore this table. This is our lipstick table. And I want to start here with the Avon assorted shades of sample lipsticks. And, you know, we talked about the war ending. Well, they had all of these bullet casings. And so Avon said, like, we'll take them and we'll make lipstick samples out of them. So the term lipstick bullet actually came from Avon. And it's still used to this day. I adore these Avon, assorted Revlon lipsticks. The shade Say with Rubies was a very popular color, and they used a lot of refillable packaging. These cases are called Futurama, and they're just really detailed and so beautiful and delicate. You know, I don't really see anything like that except when you think about a Pat McGrath or maybe even Gucci. You guys tell me if you're shopping and things are very elegant and dainty like this. I love it. You start to get into more of the packaging and advertisements that you see here. A lot of the lipsticks had a sliding mechanism versus now it's more of a roll up. I love this right here. I don't know if you can see it. I'm sorry because I'm probably shadowing. Let me go here. So you have the 2020 Rouge from Hermes, and you have the Coty 24 lipsticks from 1950. And you can tell that there's some inspiration going on here. And honestly, before we put the signs, our guests couldn't tell which was which. Again, you'll start to see more of the advertisement in the packaging. They wanted to really stand out. These are House of Westmore products, and they were mostly in Hollywood working on film and television. And you can see just the beautiful designs. Let's talk skincare for a little bit in the Erno Laszlo gallery. Here is beloved Dr. Erno Laszlo, born in Hungary in 1897. His philosophy about, skin was inside out. He soon became very ritualistic with his skincare. I don't know if you've ever tried any, but it's absolutely incredible. It is a lot of steps, very similar to a K-beauty. Here's a little timeline when you come into the studio. But you also have something that has never been on display before. Yes. And these are prescriptions from the Erno Laszlo Institute for Marilyn Monroe. And here you even see, it's not a mistake. This is a doodle. And it actually is Marilyn Monroe's doodle. She was notorious for doodling when people spoke with her. Miss Jackie Kennedy and Greta Garbo. But we also have something very unique here, and these are the actual products from the vanity of Marilyn Monroe and Greta Garbo. And they have never been on display, and they are on display for the first time here at Makeup Museum here in New York City. We are so lucky that the Erno Laszlo Institute trusts us and really saw the vision. Here's one of my favorite quotes. Erno Laszlo not only heals my skin, but he soothes my soul. Marilyn Monroe. I just love her energy and her relationship that she had with him. It was very personal, and he cared very much for her. All right. Now we're going to discuss the look. As you can imagine, there's not a lot of variety. During 1959, Barbie was the hot thing, and Ruth Handler actually had some pushback. And people thought that, there's no way that, girls want to play with like life-size women. But guess what? They were wrong, and I'm glad that Ruth stuck with it. This look was actually created by Bud Westmore, hand-painted in Japan, and these are 1994 reproductions. So these products would be found on most women's vanity. You have Pepsodent, Vaseline, cocoa butter. These things are still around. I love how everything was so tiny because you didn't really need a whole lot. A little bit went a long way. And I joke, this says liquid nails, but it's a powder. And it reminds me of like the dip nails that the girls are getting today. So fun. The look. So the look for 1950s was quite simple. You had a very clear complexion. It was all about that matte complexion, arched eyebrows. You had a little bit of the eyeliner that I mentioned before, and you had either a blue or green eyeshadow, and you always had a red lip. Now, if you were that chick, you always had your little mole, okay? Whether you had to draw it on or God blessed you, okay? I'm not gonna say none, but I got one, okay? Now, we talked about this exhibition being called Pink Jungle, and you may wanna know, like, why is it called Pink Jungle? I don't get it. Well, it's from the Time magazine, June 16, 1958 article. It says beauty, the industry without a recession. And it just goes into detail about, showcasing the fact that the cosmetic industry was at an all-time high and it was highly competitive. And I really do stand for this quote. It says, in little bottles, eternal hope. You start to see makeup, beauty becoming just mainstream. This article is obviously written by a man. And so it has some really unpleasant things like the fickle woman and things like that, but it speaks to socialites using this product, as well as nurses, as well as, having dinner, going to a show. It was all part of societal norms, and women actively participated in and wanted it as well. And I really started to realize there's so much history and so much story behind just a tube of lipstick, and it's not just about looking good, it's a whole story. And it brings me to our makers section, where we talk about the men and the women who actually created beauty. A lot of them were immigrants or just first generation Americans with not, sometimes they didn't have any formal education, but they had the zest and the zeal for wanting to be successful in this country. There's a very popular feud between Helena Rubenstein and Elizabeth Arden. It's very TMZ, okay? Very shade room ready. But these are some of the other amazing makers. You may be familiar with Elizabeth Arden, who is really responsible for gift with purchase, if you think about it. You have Charles Revson, which was the new kid and on the block, and he made a name for himself. Hazel Bishop, who has a very heartwarming story of creating her own brand and then it literally being taken from her. But you know what? She bounced back like you know you got to, and ended up going back into the stock market, and she became a professor at FIT. So you got to come and learn more about Miss Hazel Bishop. Love a woman that can't keep down. And you have the Westmore family. All of these beautiful boys were makeup artists in Hollywood, and they studied under Max Factor, but went on to obviously create their own brand. Annie Turbo Malone, who you may really be more familiar with her based on the Madam C.J. Walker story. She was her mentor. She started the first door-to-door sales that you see like Avon and other brands, Mary Kay adapting. And she became, you know, one of the first Black female multimillionaires and paved the way, and was just an innovator of her time and does not get enough credit. Mel Norman, if your grandmother is from the South, chances are she used Mel Norman, who is responsible for the try before you buy. So, you know, if you work retail and people want to come in and they want to get matched and then they want to try eyeshadow, lipstick, and you're like, girl, you got to buy something first. You got to talk to Mel Norman about that because she started out, okay? Helena Rubenstein and Elizabeth Arden, who were, you know, lifelong feuders, really made a way, and Helena Rubenstein was known for her amazing formulas, whereas Elizabeth Arden was known more for her beautiful packaging. They died around the same time, and Helena was said on record that she wished that they had not spent so much time fighting and that they would have actually banded together and worked together more. So that is something to take with you as you enter the cosmetic industry, to learn to collaborate and partner. I think that's really important for women and all people, really, to be honest. You have Mabel Williams. And, you know, how many of you have ever used Maybelline products? Okay. When I started here, I did not know about Mabel Williams, but she is absolutely the creator of the iconic Maybelline. Maybelline was so popular at one time, people would just ask for Maybelline when they meant mascara. It didn't even matter what brand. They would just say, oh, I need some Maybelline, and they meant mascara. She actually created this formula because she was in the kitchen mixing up some stuff and caught a fire and it burned her eyelashes off. So a girl had to come up with something new. And she actually at the time utilized a product that was really used for men to darken their beards. And it was called Mascara, and she just took the O off and put an A, and you got mascara. She's smart. I love it. I'm going to show you now a few of our capsules with the collection for Helena Rubenstein. So you can see that her products really meant business. When I think about like the European brands, when I go to Paris and I shop, how, you know, the packaging is very simple, but the results of the product that you get are absolutely amazing. Now, you see Elizabeth Arden and how beautiful and just flowery and feminine and luxurious the products were. You know, I can see, you know, the difference between the women, and that probably had, you know, helped the feud go along. We talked briefly about Charles Revson, but the only thing that Helena Rubenstein and Elizabeth Arden agreed on was their disdain for Charles Revson. He originally started out as nail polishes, as you can see in the back, and then you can find them in any Duane Reade or Walgreens. But I want you to pay close attention to this product. I'm going to try to pan around a little bit. Maybe you'll only get the side, but it's a product that's an aftershave called That Man. And Charles Revson actually created it when he heard that these two women, Helena Rubenstein and Elizabeth Arden, don't use his name. They refer to him as that man because that's how much they didn't like him. He came back with the ultimate snapback. Petty Peter, yeah, but you know what? It was the highest selling aftershave for many years. I always get a kick out of that story. And you have the Hazel Bishop collection, which unfortunately, as I mentioned, she lost the rights to her name and to her company as she trusted in her husband and a partner who, was saying that he was going to invest, however, duped her. So word to the wise, get your LLCs, get your insurance, get your trademarks, girls. That's how you got to do it. And we have a few Maybelline products, not very many, but they're still here. They're still shoppable in the stores. And I love Maybelline. Mel Norman, remember when I talked about smoking being chic? This is how Mel Norman marketed her products for a long time, with a little bit of a matchbook. So very interesting, to say the least. We don't do that now. And I love the Westmore's packaging. It is so Hollywood, so fly. They did a lot of Rouge cake makeups and those types of things. But I just love their family dynamic and how they stuck together and they dominated Hollywood. And their great-granddaughter is actually still around, and she hosted a competition that I think was on FX. You guys have to Google it. And I don't watch TV a lot, so I don't have the tea on that. But if you DM me, I'll find out for you. You have Estee Lauder. This is the classic Youth Dew spray that sometimes she retros. The story with this is she went into department stores. They did not want to sell her product, so she accidentally knocked it over. And everyone said, oh my God, what's that smell? And so then they had to sell it. That girl, that's good. That's a good one. And then we have, let's circle back here, our muses. Cosmetics began to kind of leverage celebrities. And I don't know if you can tell here, but I'm going to get really close to see how transformative makeup really is. Again, this is a Richard Avedon photographer, and it was for Life's magazine, December 1958 issue, when Marilyn Monroe, yep, that's her, all of these are her, posed as some of the most iconic women. Now, in 1954, as you can imagine, with conformity and just very rigid rules of society, you have this book, Femme Mimics, created by Carlton Winford of Texas. A lot of people risk their freedom to actually be a part of this. I wish that I could, open it for you, but you've got to come in here and see these. There's over 350 photographs. I love that, Kit Russell is on the cover, because look at the transformation from this masculine look to this very feminine look. The makeup was beat, the eyebrows were snatched, the hair was perfection. And on the front, you see jerks and skirts, crime in skirts, clowns in gowns. So they kind of made it to where, you can't hurt me with your words because I'm still going to be here. I'm still thriving. I also learned a very interesting fact that the first drag queen was a Black slave. And so, again, I learn something new every time that I show up to this place. So please research that and understand that in some places, in some countries, it's still very much so illegal. And we are still, even as Americans, still getting around to the concept of acceptance and inclusion and diversity. So long way to go. Which reminds me, the future, we have a collection here from Mary Quaint. I believe her products are still sold in parts of Asia, but this is when the 1960s start to emerge. You see the really fun packaging, and they just went nutty with the colors. I mean, we've got green, pink, blue. I mean, they really went for it during this time. And, honestly, I want to ask you where you see beauty going. Where would you like to see beauty going? We have some amazing iconic women here that we wanted to pay homage to. You have Dorothy Dandridge, Lucille Ball, Jackie Kennedy, Elizabeth Taylor. These women are just so iconic and beautiful. And we were so lucky to have a muralist come in and paint these images of them. Love it. Of course, Miss Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, Frida. Yes. my favorite Eartha Kitt. Love her. And once the tour is wrapped up, we always bring our guests to the gift shop and show them our lovely collection of Erno Laszlo products, Elizabeth Arden. We have Besame Cosmetics and Patchology, Kevin O'Quan, and some amazing products by our creator, Doreen, which is Spice Skincare, as well as this amazing skincare makeup spritz. I love it. And we give gifts. So if you are in the New York area and want to stop by, come through and get a free gift on us for being our guest. And that concludes the Makeup Museum. So much fun. I am going to set up shop right here. And I'm going to chat with you and see what questions you have. Oh, good. I'm so glad you loved it. I'm so glad you loved it. Oh, good. Thank you. I had so much fun too, Mila. Thank you. Oh, goodness. And I saw someone mention Pat McGrath's packaging. I live for it. Yeah, so if you want to follow the Makeup Museum, I'm going to attempt to type. Sorry. I'm going to attempt to type. I'm on my phone, so bear with me. I'm going to type the Makeup Museum. Makeup. And then I'm going to type and then I want to answer some questions or hear your feedback, especially as to where you think this industry is going. It may be Makeup Museum Official. Can someone check on that? Okay, thank you. Yes, Makeup Museum Official. I forgot the official. And we are very official here. So please follow us, drop us a line, DM. I get all the DMs from the Makeup Museum as well. So if you are in town and you want to visit, please let me know. Oh, thank you. Yes, the museum is open to the public, but we do have a very, we try to regulate because of the pandemic and things. So you can book your appointment online, but if you contact me, I will make sure that I work something out with you guys. Just mention that you were on here, message me right away and say, you want to come on a certain day. We're mostly open on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yes, the lipstick bullets were absolutely incredible. When I got my hands on those, I was like, yeah, this is the way. And it was such a much better way to use bullets, guys. Like, such a better way. Like, we've got to do better, Yeah. So I am curious to see where you think the future of beauty is. And of course, if you have questions about the program, I think the program really helped me think outside the box because it gave me the fundamentals. And then I just started thinking about what was, what is, and what will be. And I am so grateful for this opportunity to, chat with you all, and so grateful for Yellowbrick and FIT for creating this program. It has been life-changing. Yeah, you can actually reach me on my Instagram. I definitely type that in right. It's at passport2pretty. Also, Kenecia at makeupmuseum.com is also a great way to get in touch with me, especially if you have some ideas or questions around concepts and, anything that you can think of. We're here. We are here for the community. We really wanted to create a house for people who love makeup, who love history, and things like that. Let me go in and look at the questions because they're popping up fast. You know what? As far as events, it's been really hard. Let's talk, maybe it's something we can work out. This is my first time actually being in the space without a mask. So, and that's because, as you can see, I am here by myself. And it feels really strange because normally I am, masked up. We check temperatures when people come to make sure they don't have a fever. We offer hand sanitizer. And because it's booked on appointments, we have a gap between guests so that everyone, is feeling safe and comfortable. And we also sanitize in between every guest. And our goal is to, we're going to be here in this 1950s Pink Jungle exhibit until February of 2021. And then we're going to have a new exhibit. So please come, before February. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, yep. So, yep. Is that your question about changing the exhibition? So, yes, we will be changing it in February of 2021. So, if you would like to see the 1950s specifically, we chose this era. As I mentioned, Doreen is amazing, visionary, because this is around the time that cosmetic became, a big deal, and where it was really recession proof at a time where, America had some struggles and things like that. So, it was a great decade to start, and we've got so many decades to go. And I'm going to check again and make sure there are no questions. I really enjoyed you. I can feel your good energy and your good vibes. I hope I wasn't speaking so fast because I really love makeup, and then I love history, and combining the two has just been a dream come true for me. So yes, thank you, Nikki. That is so sweet. Thank you. You know what? I would be open to having another, let's see who asked that, because I think she has my say. Kenecia. Oh, I love it. I am open to having another webinar. I think that, I will talk to the powers that be. Definitely. Thank you. Thank you. There will be more diversity, most certainly, especially if I have anything to do with it. What you are seeing, Nikki, is the 1950s. We talked a lot about Jim Crow and segregation and just a lack of diversity and inclusion. And, moving forward is exactly what we want to see, and so I picture a world that is inclusive and diverse, just like you. Yes, and you know what? I have a secret. I don't even know if I can tell, but we are working on a makeup history book. So far, I don't really know any makeup history books. So this is why we are creating. So please stay tuned for that. And please email me if you would like to, potentially be a part of it, if you have some ideas around it. And just please stay in touch. This is your home. This is your community. Yeah, yes. Yep, absolutely. There's so much. I stay with a red lip under these masks. I can't even begin to tell you. But I do have a book at home. It's the Kevin O'Quan, Making Faces, which I think is like classic. You have to have that. I'm gonna work on a list, but if you DM me, or even if you check my stories later, I may post it. But yes, there's a wealth of knowledge here, and we've got to look beyond the aesthetic. There's so much I didn't know about a lot of the makers. I did not, know their stories, and it's so important. I don't know much about the next exhibition, but we are working on some concepts, and we have not nailed it down. It's so hard because there's so much. There's, ancient. There's China. There is, Latina beauty. There's African beauty. Like there's just so much to try to fit into this space. So, we're working on it. And again, you can reach me, Kenecia at makeupmuseum.com. You can DM me on Instagram. I do seem to check it pretty regularly. I mean, sometimes, girls got to like fall back because self-care is important. And yeah, okay, hold on. There are 2 questions in the Q&A section. Okay, so Giselle, please send me a message. I'm answering that live. Send me a message so we can talk about the times, because you do have to have an appointment. I love a new tour. Yes, definitely. Especially for those of you who live out of state and will not be traveling, I would love to tour again. I will make sure that I make it happen. Look out for that, at the top of next year. Let's see, I have one more question. Okay, so how do we acquire products? It is very interesting because, with conversations like this, you may know someone's grandmother or have something that you've collected and, may want to let us borrow it. We use eBay. We use historians. We, tap into all of our resources to find authentic products. And then we have a process to authenticate them, to keep track of them, make sure that they're insured and that they're safe. Yeah, so, if you know somebody that has something, any year, please let us know. We are accepting artifacts, especially when it, relates to something that's diverse. Yes, so the video will be recorded, and, please feel free again to reach out to me. I am literally here for the community and building and making things happen. I'm going to check the comments. I hope I didn't miss anyone's comment. it can be really challenging to do that, but it looks like, thank you. I mean, there's so much love in here. Like, first of all, like, squeeze. Yes. So there's a question here. How much do I charge for makeup? I don't know if that meant for admission is $40. But please contact me, and we'll be able to do something special for you guys that are on here. But if you're asking me how much I charge for makeup, girl, we'll have to talk. I have to share my price list with you. Okay, let's see. Yep, the cost is a $40 entry, but we do have a student fee, which I believe is $20 or $25. That was an answer in Carrie's question. I feel like my grandma now. You know how when you're, if you're lucky enough to still have your grandma, when they're on the phone, they're like really close and trying to figure it out. But definitely, are there any more questions, comments? Like, honestly, you guys can reach out to me anytime. I'm more than happy to share everything I know with you. I have so much fun. Oh goodness. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Yellowbrick is just responsible for me actually being able to attend FIT with the Beauty Industry Essentials. So, I am, just honored, that they would choose me, and, just communicating, just reaching out and making a really nice connection, genuine connection with them. And, we took it off from there. Like, hey, what can I do to help you? You help me, it's that kind of thing. I love the course. I thought it was very informative. I think that I really needed a refresher because I was, again, out of New York City, out of America for 2 years. And it really helped me kind of recalibrate and rethink the direction that I was going to go in, and just to be more innovative. Oh, you're welcome, Kadida. To be more innovative and to be stronger and to, step into my power as it comes into this industry. And there's really room for all of us to create. It's times when I thought, okay, who needs another lipstick? Well, what is your brand about? What are the new innovations, the new, ingredients that are out on the market? A lipstick from 1950 is not the same as a lipstick today, believe me. And I think that is something to be said, and just being innovative, being courageous, and looking at beauty in a different light than you ever have before. So the course was really impactful for me, just kind of getting my scholastic kind of mind, set going again, because you can get so caught up in life that you truly forget, to continue to create and to continue to learn. So it was great. I hope you guys are enjoying the course. Let's see, there's another question. Oh, you know what? I have never heard of Refor. I haven't heard of that, but I think that is a noble way to go, to really ask people what they want. I really think that it is a great way to create, especially if you're not creating for yourself, you're creating for the world, right? So what I might like is like, fine, but I definitely think that crowdsourcing, especially with social media, maybe you can seed out products and see what people like and what they don't like. I think it's all smart. I think anything that's new and interesting, throw it out there and see what sticks, definitely, and try not to have, this ego or these, unnecessary expectations about it. Just see what people, for me, when I create, I try not to make it personal. It's coming from me, but I try not to be so attached if someone doesn't like it, or if they have a really good, really good feedback to help me make it better. And with the program, it talked about the different industries and the different jobs. But I think one of the amazing things that we have now is to really create your job. You can create your job, or, as I did with Makeup Museum, I reached out. I saw something that piqued my interest and my passion, and I reached out and asked, like, hey, how can I help? This is what I have to offer. How can I help? What do you need? And and it's just really being open and being flexible about the type of work that you'll do. And again, I started out in the retail space. I started out working for Benefit Cosmetics and MAC Cosmetics, and those things were very fundamental in my development as a makeup artist. Like, I don't think I would be sitting here before you if I had not, taken up those jobs, So yeah, this has been amazing. I hate to leave. This has been the most interaction that any of us get because of everything that's going on. But I thank you so kindly for, your patience and your attention and you sharing this energy with me. I wish you so much luck in your course. Thank you to Yellowbrick. Thank you to FIT for creating this program. And thank you to the Makeup Museum for having me. It has been nothing short of wonderful. Reach out and I will be sure to respond. Thank you guys and have an amazing weekend.